And this is 5 science-backed ways to rebuild connection. So, okay, so let's get practical because understanding loneliness does not fix loneliness. What fixes it is action. And we are going to talk about 5 evidence-based strategies researchers consistently point to. So, can you start with number 1, Lindsay?
I want to start with number one.
Okay, go for it.
So, yeah, I'm going to reiterate that. You have to treat loneliness. You have to treat it like we treat depression, we treat anxiety, we treat other things. You can't just hope it's going to go away.
Right.
So, number one, the proximity rule. Psychologist Robert I don't know how to say this. Zajonc
John, I don't know.
Dijon discovered the mere exposure effect. Simply seeing people repeatedly builds
Mhm.
familiarity. Going to your cafe,
That's
seeing the
right.
people in the elevator, seeing people at the gym class.
Mhm.
Um, and familiarity builds trust. This is one reason recovery meetings work so well. You see the same people week after week. Belonging grows through repetition.
Absolutely. And as humans, we do have to feel like we belong somewhere,
Mhm.
whatever that is. And yeah, I love the repetition part because I'm experiencing that with the cafe. You know, it's like the waiters know me.
Yep.
They're all so nice. A lot of them from Argentina, and they know I'm vegan. So you know, they try to make stuff that I can eat, and they're so sweet. And you know, then I have like the hairdresser down the street also. You know,
Right.
kind of everything. These buildings here in Alicante are amazing because you have like the building and downstairs it's all the shops that,
Yeah.
you know, like I have a grocery store, I have a cafe, I have the ATM downstairs, I have, you know, a hairdresser, I have a pastry shop.
Nice.
That's sinful, believe me. I go there to get coffee
Mm.
for €1. Better than Starbucks, girl. And then big pastries for like €1, 25, like a big, I know. And fresh bread also.
Mhm.
See, that's another thing, girl. I'm telling you, it's almost like, I know, like when you go to something like here, like this community, where it's really a community, everybody knows each other, everybody likes each other, and you know, you can get like fresh things. It's not like you have in LA. I remember I had to go to Starbucks and drive to Starbucks, or and
Right.
I'm not promoting Starbucks, but you know, you had to drive somewhere or whatever. Here it's like you walk to all the things that you need downstairs. And so all the communities are kind of built that way. All these big buildings have like a cafe downstairs, they have shops. And so that's why I'm telling you, you don't need a car, which actually makes your life better because being in the car, you are isolating yourself from other people. Where if you walk, you meet people, you know, or I'm telling you, I'm meeting
Yeah.
people walking or in the bus stop or at the bus, in the bus. I'm talking to people in the bus. And it's normal.
Right.
And that my nervous system is kind of regulating itself after all that, you know, I had to leave the
Yeah.
US. Um, and and I think that the community part of it and the way everything is set up here to make you feel welcomed and to make you feel like you're part of a community, and kind of like old school pastry shops and
Right.
cafes is just, I don't know how to explain it, but it makes me feel almost like my childhood in
Yeah.
Argentina, because that was the way, like we were talking earlier, that was the way that it used to be.
Yeah.
And so it's not just, you know, in LA, it was a lot, my connection was a lot to my phone, to my clients on Zoom, or, you know, friends even on Zoom that are in other states, right? And so, but here it just feels like more real.
You're more present.
Yes, more present. And I think that's why the average lifespan of a woman in Spain is 87 years old, where in the US it's 79.
Wow.
Yes. And I think that this part has a lot to do with it, the community.
Yeah.
If you
I agree.
watch if you watch that documentary about the blue zones on Netflix, I highly recommend it. Research like why people live to be 100 in certain areas, and one of the factors was community.
I'm sure.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't have to be family; it can be your neighbors.
Because I think fundamentally, when you have a community that you feel safe with around you,
Hmm.
all the fears that you have when you're alone and lonely,
Yeah,
like financial trouble, emotional trouble, anxiety trouble,
yeah,
like, there are gonna be people around who can help you with whatever is happening to you. I think that's the beauty of community.
yeah. I agree 100%. So the other thing that we were talking about, the five evidence-based strategies researchers consistently point to rebuild connection, is to reach out first. Research from the University of Chicago found that people consistently underestimate how happy others are to hear from them. Lonely people often wait to be invited, wait to be contacted, but reaching out first can break the isolation loop. Sometimes one simple message is enough. And you know what? Because I'm an immigrant here, right? And I just arrived here almost 3 months ago. Um, I used to not contact people like as much, but here I'm contacting my friends more in the US, or I'm contacting the people that I met here, and that helps. That helps a lot. And it kind of like if you feel lonely, I highly recommend just contact somebody and say, "Hey, thinking of you. How are you doing?" And start a conversation. Some people will might just say, "Hey, I'm okay," and move on, but other people might start a conversation, and then maybe you'll talk on the phone or you meet up for coffee or whatever, right?
And who should you reach out to, Grace? I have suggestions.
I like that.
Um,
Okay.
a family member you haven't spoken to in a long time, who would
Uh-huh.
love to hear from you or might be
Nice.
struggling. A friend who hasn't heard from you in a long time and might be struggling.
Yeah.
I've been going through this weird thing lately where I'm incredibly nostalgic for certain people
Oh,
from
wow.
the old days.
Yeah.
And I think they just remind me of, a simpler time. And so I sometimes I text one of them a memory and I'm like, remember when? And it generally leads to a little bit of a funny text exchange or a let's catch up.
Right. Right.
Um, so I have never had the experience of sending somebody a text or calling, even if I leave a voicemail and being like, I was literally just thinking about you and missing you and thinking about when we used to live in New York. It never goes badly.
Never, right? And
No.
if you think of someone, that's kind of like we're all connected.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they
And you know
sense
what's
it.
funny? Often the response is, "Oh my god, I was thinking of you recently too. I'm so glad you got in touch."
That is so cool. I love that. Yes.
Um, okay, the next one is a really important. This is something, so I have been coached and in recovery for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that people used to make me do.
Oh,
So this is really, really important if you are somebody who struggles with depression or anxiety or new in recovery. One meaningful interaction per day.
ooh.
Okay. So a Gallup study across 143 countries found something very simple and very powerful. People who have at least one meaningful social interaction per day report significantly higher well being. It doesn't have to be a party, it doesn't have to be a perfect conversation. It's just one real moment. So I will add to that. People are always surprised, whether it's the boyfriend or family members or whoever it is, at how many people I know in the neighborhood, how fast. Why is that? I have dogs. My boyfriend has dogs. I
Yeah.
am walking those dogs. And I'll be like, so the guy in that house has a doodle too, and he also got it for his dog. He'll be like, how do you know these people and know these?
Right.
And it's because I walk the dogs every day. And I see people and I just go, oh, hi. And I smile and I introduce the dogs. And like, I would say every single day I have at least 3 meaningful things because people know who we are. They love both sets of dogs, and somebody is going to stop and say hi to us. And I, with my old dog was so cute that people would stop and ask me if they could say hello, and I would
Oh,
let them, and they'd be like, that just made my day.
oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. So take your dogs out.
Yeah. And if you don't have dogs, go for a walk.
Meet other dogs. Say people with dogs don't
Right.
mind.
Right. Exactly.
Like, if you ever see somebody, even if you're, like, a little bit attracted to them, here's a cool
Right.
tip, okay? You
Yeah.
see somebody regularly, they have a dog. There has never been a dog owner that if you very politely said, "I so admire your dog. Would it be okay if I said hello and pet him for a second?"
Yeah. That's
Like,
true.
don't just attack their dog, but compliment their dog
Yeah.
and say, "Would it be okay if I said hello to your dog?" And generally, most people will be like, "Yes, his name is Jojo, and he wears cowboy boots at home," you know?
That's so cute. Yeah, totally. I agree. I agree.
Alright,
Um,
carry on.
all right. So another thing to another strategy to just connect to other people is activity-based connection. Is do things side by side. Okay, like activity-based connection, like you were talking about, often works better than forced conversation, like walking, cooking, volunteering, creating something together. Shared activity removes pressure, and connection grows naturally, like I was telling you about, like doing a vegan cooking class. Because when you're
Yep.
doing something and you're talking, or stuff happens, or you make a mistake, or you talk about, you see a potato and you remember a story about a potato,
Yeah.
it's like it helps connect with people, I think, right?
And I'm gonna bring up volunteering because 'cause I've been,
Uh-huh.
in Rotary and other organizations, and, when I was actually president at Rotary, it was the busiest year of my life.
Ooh.
And you're around people who care about the same causes as you, you're helping people. There isn't a calendar built into joining those service organizations. So if you want to meet people, make the world a better place, and have more to do than you know what to do with, join a service organization,
Yeah.
whatever it is, Kiwanis, Rotary, Girls Inc. We have stuff down here where they teach them how to play golf, the little kids,
Nice.
and just get involved with those people because you will be having events, you will be setting up, you will get to know people whether you like it or not.
Absolutely. And in the Blue Zone documentary, that was another thing, like having a purpose in your life, people that are not working anymore or whatever, if they volunteered and helped other people, that gave them a sense of purpose. That's
Absolutely.
why they get to live longer. People that don't
Mhm.
have that sense of purpose, they just feel like, why am I here?
Yeah, yeah.
So absolutely. All right. You want to just go with the fifth and last one?
Micro connections matter.
Hmm.
What is a micro connection, you ask? Well, research from the University of British Columbia found that even brief interactions with strangers improve well being. Talk about your meeting people at the bus stop, the
Yeah.
barista remembering your order, the neighbor saying hello, the cashier making a joke. This is me with the dogs. These
Yeah.
small moments of human recognition matter more than we realize. And by the way, to this day, most people still don't know my name, but they know the dogs' names.
Yeah, I hear you. So, all right, we're going to do one more quick break. And then when we come back, we want to share the conclusion of that 85-year Harvard study. I don't know. Do you know what? Being in Spain, my English is suffering. It's like I'm using different muscles of
But
my.
is your Spanish getting better? It
Oh, it's
didn't
getting
need to
so
get
much
better.
better. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm recovering Spanish.
Yeah.
The insight that may change how you measure whether your life is actually getting better. All right. So last video that we're showing you guys.